And then all the names have like their little tags or lore with it. So like there's like the theater kids, which is cool, and like the bio engineers, I guess. But the weirdest one was like
the math geeks.
The math geeks, yeah, the Quandrix are like the math geeks. And
finally, our people are represented in Magic.
Yeah, your people, not my people. But, well, I mean, I guess
yours are too.
Yeah, my theater people.
We'll have to go head to head. I'll take the math geek deck, and you take the theater. I like my chances because I'm blue green. But.
Yeah, I mean, blue red's pretty good. So, but anyway, I just thought it was so weird that so they had a little joke with like, oh, the math kids can, they like math so much that they can recite pi backwards, and I was like, okay, and then I just moved on, and then Twitter was like blowing up about it. It was just like everyone was getting so upset because they were saying, oh, that's impossible. You know, there's no start number. How could you ever do that?
Zach, what you don't understand is that Wizards didn't know that the decimal expansion of pi is never ending and non-repeating.
Oh.
So somebody needed to inform them of that.
Yes, that's right.
And that this joke didn't make
WotC
sense.
didn't understand actually how pi worked at all.
Right.
And they really needed the community to explain it to them. You're right.
Right. They probably, it was just 3.14.
Yeah.
You know.
And they're like, oh, they just like doing that. So anyway, I chalked it up to like magic, right? It's like, oh, it's just, they're magic. They can do whatever. Like, who cares? It doesn't matter. It's a joke. It's just a joke. The funny part is that you can't do it. That's it. Like, that's it. It's
literally just maybe it was a bad
It's
joke.
not a good joke.
Like
I don't think it's that funny, but it's really not worth talking about. And I feel like I spent like 2 or 3 days on Twitter, people going over why you can't do that or how dumb it is. Or all the people that were like, no, what they meant was you're just saying each number in the right order, but you say the number backwards. Okay.
I wish I'd been a part of this and like had a bigger Twitter presence so I could just be trolling people. Like, no, just start at the last number and then work your way back till you get to 3, guys.
Yeah, it's
not that
hard. Oh man, it was just, I don't know. Number one, I wasn't expecting any Strixhaven anything, and then this is what comes out of it. Basically, it's just all these people upset about this pi thing. Hello and welcome to episode 19 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are your source for drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
Regular dudes, regular beer, regular old Magic, and competitive play. That's what you'll find here.
Yeah. Except for not regular beer. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, actually...
we try to drink interesting beer.
Irregular beer.
Irregular beer.
Regular dudes and irregular
There
beer.
we go. That sounds about right. So basically this episode we are going to be talking about the Kaldheim League Weekend number 2 that's coming up this weekend, and we have our classic fantasy draft. So we need to draft our teams to, well, hopefully I can beat Jeff at some point.
I don't know. History's not on your side with that one.
But first, each week we both bring a beer, we drink our own, then drink each other's, then rate them on a scale of bronze to mythic, and choose the best for last. So with that, Jeff, what is on tap?
Well, this week and next, we're actually doing a tap takeover here.
Ooh, tap takeover. I like it.
Yeah. We're drinking stuff from Rorschach. That's a local brewery in the east end of Toronto here. And so maybe we won't tell you what we have on deck for next week, but this week we have 2 beers from them, and I brought Reverie. This is described as a Dreamsicle Double IPA and Tropical Berry. It's 8.5%. It's a nice little can that has like a moon sleeping next to a star. Could be the sun, but I'm not sure. Definitely a star. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into this one. What do you got?
I have from Rorschach as well, so that's what we're doing. Hedonism, and they have a couple different versions of Hedonism. So this is the peach, mango, strawberry, pineapple version. And all of the hedonisms are sorbet sour IPAs. So, something strange. Something I'm into it though. It's 6.9 and it has like a keyhole as the art. So.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe it's worth talking a little bit about Rorschach just from what I saw, like perusing their website.
Yeah.
Seems like they kind of specialize in, for lack of a better way to describe it, like dessert beers.
Okay.
These kind of like this is a Dreamsicle IPA. That's a sorbet sour. I even noticed some of their like lagers were like dessert lagers.
Yeah, I did see one that was like a horchata, which seemed kind of interesting. So, yeah, definitely worth checking out. And the cans and all that stuff are really the cool design. I really like it.
Yeah, so I'm expecting like big kind of decadent flavors to help balance the high alcohol content they have going in a lot of these things.
Yeah. But anyway, Magic news. So we already were kind of talking about it in the intro, but WotC has started spoilers for Strixhaven. Oh, isn't that fun? That's just we just started a new set, then we got another one to look at. That's great.
I figured it had to be like you have here that you heard it was because it was going to get leaked.
Yes.
And I figured that had to be the case because it's just way too early to try to get me excited for the next set. I'm literally still excited about the current set that just came out.
I'm literally I think it was Thursday of last week or something. So a week from when this podcast comes out. So we were literally just looking at Kaldheim and trying to figure out how to play sealed, and then new cards come out. It's like, what is that? But yeah, so I'm pretty sure I did hear that there was some source that those cards were getting leaked and some more information about it. So I think WotC just wanted to get ahead of the leaks and just kind of announce everything themselves.
Because it's also a pretty high-profile cycle that they leaked, right? Like commands are a thing that people love.
Yeah, so there's they leaked all the different colleges, which are the 5 different, like, for lack of a better term, houses in this world. And then
no, it's Harry Potter world. It is houses.
And then like Elder Dragons founded the different colleges, and but anyway, the commands for them came out, which seem kind of interesting. If you want to look at them, we're not going to really talk about them, but go look them up.
Well, I am going to just quickly mention one of them, just like you know which one, obviously, the Golgari one. How many times are they going to give me something that is close to a Seder Wayfinder and better in some other aspect, but without just giving me Seder Wayfinder? Why am I not allowed to play with this card? Like the Golgari command mills 3 and returns a land. It's like, just give me the 1/1 that mills 5 and gives me a land for 2. Stop printing all these other cards for 2 that mill a few and get you lands and have other stuff going on. And making it rare. No, I just want Seder Wayfinder to happen.
Come on.
Is that too much to ask?
That's for your Gallia deck, right? The Endless Dance?
I don't know what you're asking me. The Haster?
It's for your Seder deck, right?
Oh, right. I see, because it's Seder Tribal. Okay. I'm with you now.
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, so the big things with the Strixhaven reveal was that they're going to change some words on cards. So no more CMC. Converted mana cost is too long and weird. It's going to be changed to mana value. So, yeah, however you feel about that, it's just going to happen. It's already done. Might as well jump on board. I think it's fine.
I mean, what was the mana cost converted from? It was converted from a mana cost, right?
Yeah.
You're talking about converted mana cost, but it was converted from a mana cost? It was a confusing term.
It was a strange term.
That we all just kind of got used to.
Yeah, exactly. And then also they're just shortening anytime something says shuffle your library, it's just going to say shuffle instead. So, perfect. I'm all on board.
I hate this one. I'm in staunch opposition.
Shuffle what, my hand? Can I shuffle?
Yeah, they're just ruining the game, I think, dumbing it down for new players, and I won't stand by it.
Yeah. Can we bring back Regenerate, please? Yeah. I want Mana Burn and Interrupts. So.
Yeah. All things that made the game better.
Yeah. From now on, I'm just going to play all my Planeswalkers as if they're just sagas.
I'm going to play them as...
You get the ultimate every time.
I'm going to play them as if they are creatures that can attack that can't be blocked if defending player controls a planes. Because that's what a Planeswalker should be.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah. Anyway, I think let's just jump right into the Arena Open takeaways. How was your Arena Open?
Yeah.
What was going on?
Good. It was fun. So, for those who missed it somehow, the Arena Open happened this past weekend, and it was all about Kaldheim Sealed. So this is the first time they've ever done limited on the big stage, basically. And people have been asking for that for a really long time. And just to, get things out of the way, I think it went really well.
Yeah, same.
I think people liked it. The main thing that a lot of people were concerned about is that this is something new that they've never done before, to allow this many people all kind of playing in one same event on Arena. So people were worried for the high stakes. People were worried that like there might be something wrong with the servers or the sealed pools or whatever. I'm not sure exactly what they were concerned about, but you know, Arena kind of has a history of mucking stuff up that you know, with the FNMs and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so people were worried that would happen here, and I don't think I heard anything about that.
I heard only good stuff. I didn't hear anybody getting like crashing, or any bugs or cards being wonky or not working or anything like that. So
no. I mean, it makes sense, right? Because they've been doing sealed pools on Arena, so that they probably introduced that so that we could test, but also so that they could test.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I thought it was a huge success. Super great. I'm excited for more and what else they're going to bring. I personally did not do extremely well, but I did have fun. I had a good time.
I did okay. So I did make day 2, but it took me 4 tries. So I actually woke up pretty early, like right when you're allowed to enter, because I wanted to give myself a few tries. And I don't even remember all my pools at this point because I played 5 sealed pools over the weekend. But the first one was just, the deck was only okay. I think I did the multicolored green thing. Don't remember. I did with like 3 wins or something. Then I did this red-black aggro deck that seemed pretty good. I think I sent you the thing on Discord, and we were talking about it a bit. That one got to 5 wins. Then the next one I did 4 or 5 again. But I was getting really frustrated because just like a lot of mulliganing and not hitting land drops. It felt like every game I was just struggling to hit lands. So at that point I just like, let's just take a break. Like, I'm not playing well at this point because I'm irritated. And I'm not having fun, so like, why am I spending 4,500 gems to not have fun? So after that third pool, and I kind of, like, I had a lot of fun in the first 2, but the third one I started to get irritated and let that side of the game get to me. So it's just like, well, I'll just take a break, spend the afternoon with my wife, you know, not play Magic unless I feel like actually want to.
Yeah.
And then weird, I decided, let's just play some Standard. So I played in the Satellite, the Star City Games Satellite event, using my new philosophy of just play Gruul. So I played Gruul Adventures and I actually qualified for the Kaldheim, or the Strixhaven Championship qualifier on Sunday. But then the way I qualified, like I had to win the last game against Mono Red, like last game of the last match, like game 3, gotta win. Mono Red is on the play. And I just won this like crazy close game where I was able to Questing Beast plus Embercleave them out while I was going to die on the next turn. So that just got me psyched, and I wanted to keep playing, but I wanted to play like competitive Magic still, so I just jumped into another Arena Open sealed event, and that one went 7-1.
Jeff, what were you playing in the one that you made to day 2? What colors were you playing?
I was playing a red X aggro deck.
No, but red and what, though?
X is for, like, a secondary color. It's mostly, like, a red.
Yeah,
red deck.
but what was that secondary one, though?
What do you mean?
What was the other color you were playing?
It was white.
It was white.
Yeah, might have been white.
Interesting. And who was the one that said don't play white last week?
I feel like that was just a message we were both really strongly delivering.
I'm pretty sure that I was like, you can play white, go for it. I was so happy when you told me that. That was so funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I qualified with the white deck.
Yeah, you did.
After talking about how unplayable white is.
Yeah, when you sent me the list, it really is a red deck that has some white in it. So,
yeah, I think I was playing white just for mostly to fill out the curve. It had like enough 2-drops that I needed and 3-drops. But I did have the Angel that if you gain enough life, it gives everything +2/+2, which came up a lot because I had also the rune that gives lifelink.
Oh, right.
So I was actually able to turn that on fairly often.
That's pretty awesome.
because I had a bunch of awesome equipment, like the one that the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Putting the lifelink on the hammer basically gets you up there
Oh,
no
for
matter
sure.
what.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
But overall, I felt like that deck was just kind of medium,
Mm-hmm.
but I just ran well. So
Yeah.
like I think I played pretty well too, but it's definitely more about how well you draw
Yeah.
than it is about how good your pool is.
I also was wondering, like, if it's an advantage to kind of wait until later in the day when people have qualified, and then you're just playing against other. I don't know. I was thinking about that when I was going into it. It was like, do I want to start off really early, or do I want to wait a little bit? Though I would have less practice, so I don't know if
I
it
don't know.
actually
I
means
feel
anything,
like
but
I didn't feel like the people I was playing against were any weaker. Like, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
notice them making horrible plays or anything. I guess you are more likely to play against, like, Japanese players, though,
oh, so that's scary.
because of time zones. Yeah, so depending on how late we're talking, like, I was pretty late. I think I finished at, like, 2 or 3 in the morning, which also wasn't the best idea because I had 2 competitive tournaments the next day. And I didn't sleep that much. But yeah, I guess it's if you want to think about it in time zones, you could kind of figure out I'll be playing against mostly Europeans and then like
That does make
Japanese
sense.
people.
Okay, I could see that.
Then on day 2, on Sunday, I had 2 events to play in. But luckily, I really quickly O2'd out of the Star City Games event. So that gave me plenty of time to 3-2, day 2 of the Arena Open. So in the end, on the Arena Open, I went 4 tries to get into day 2, and then 3-2 on day 2. With a pretty medium pool. The problem with it was that like it had some good cards, but it didn't have any super bombs, and it really just couldn't play aggro. So I had to do the like green-blue deck,
Right.
where my rares are not as good as your rares. Like I played against like every single person I played had multiple mythics. You know, I had like the first guy had Vorinclex and a Planeswalker, and then a couple other things. The next person upgraded that into also adding like a Seeka's Chariot into that mix. Eventually, when I got to the people with like Coma and 5 other rares, I just couldn't actually
You
beat
can't
them.
go over it. Yeah.
It felt impossible because we were both playing slow decks that wanted to win the long game, but their long game
It's just
was better
better.
than mine.
Yeah.
I was able to almost like tempo them out, and because I realized I have to be the aggressor, so I'm just trying to win with like Augury Ravens, basically. I think you kind of want to go aggro if you don't have bombs.
Yeah. I agree.
Because other people will have them, and it's just hard to win the long game against them, and it's kind of easy to, if you have a good aggro deck, to go under them. Because they're sitting there playing like Glittering Frost and,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, the Snow Manolith thing, the ring.
Or just like, foretelling more stuff that is just glimpsing.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just going to glimpse the multiverse. Yeah.
So I feel like almost the dream pool is either just like these blue-green pools that have Coma, or a really tight like red-based aggro pool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I did not. I only played twice, and my first one was just this pretty mediocre Rakdos aggro deck, kind of.
Yeah, you sent me that one. I was like,
It was rough.
this could get there. Like
If I was,
your curve was good.
yeah, it
But-
had a. It was possible, but I didn't have high hopes. And then, of course, I think the first game I played was against someone who was doing the same thing as me, but better. So.
Yeah, because you had like your claim to fame was the Berserker Saga, right?
Yeah, that's basically what I had, but really what I wanted to do was just put a bunch of creatures, a bunch of 2/2s, and just keep attacking.
Yeah.
With a couple other tricks and things. But then they immediately played the 2/1 First Striker, the rare dragon dude that makes dragons.
Yeah,
And I was like,
the Berserker that makes
I was
dragons.
like, oh, I can't attack into this. So, okay, well, I guess I have to stop attacking now. This sucks. And then I just like couldn't do anything. I was like, great, well, that was the one card I didn't want you to have. But I mean, I don't think it was a great deck. I also made some mistakes that were not great. I made some bad ones. I was like, oh, okay. But I did end up playing a lot of like all the decks. Every time I played against someone that was playing the like go slow, play big bombs deck, I could beat them. But then I ran into a few aggro decks that were just much better than mine. So
yeah.
so that happened. And then the next one I did, I decided to go into best of 3 because I was like, hey, maybe I'll get a crazy pool and then best of 3 That way I won't accidentally get mana screwed. And I actually had a pretty sweet pool. I was playing like 5-color bombs because every single one of my snowlands was a dual. I had 6 dual snowlands plus the gold one. And then I had Kaya and then that Ice Kraken and a couple other crazy things. I had the Immerstrom, that dragon, the Rakdos dragon.
Predator. Yeah. That card's really good.
Yeah, I had a ton of stuff. And I was like, sick. So the first match, I ended up beating my opponent because they played Koma. And then the next turn I played Kaya and exiled it. And it was just the best.
Nice.
So immediately got rid of that. You just spent whatever mana to play a 3/3
I mean, they still got a 3/3.
Yeah.
I guess you've got a Kaya. So.
Yeah, and I just had other just better stuff. So that was good. And then the next match I played, I lost 0-2. So I ended up just I went 1-1 and best of 3, and I was like, meh. Oh man. Oh well. I probably could have done better. I think I built it not very well. I could have done probably more with it, but it was really hard because I had the mana base to play anything, and it was just really hard deciding what I should play and what I shouldn't. It got really difficult. So
no, it sounds like you probably made the right decision. If you have the fixing, usually, and the bombs, you usually want to do the 5-color green thing.
Yeah, I was just having a hard time deciding some of the other cards that were like, do I want to be more green and black or green and blue? Or I didn't exactly know what way I should go in. There were a lot of, like I had 3 of the uncommon equipments. I had the hammer and the amulet and the bow. And I was like, oh, it was really hard. It's like,
oh man, so it's such a bummer.
I just had too many cards. I didn't know what to build. I built it.
Too many.
I ended up building it wrong somehow. But
feel for you.
Yeah, so I think I really lost that one for my build. Was not great. But so you could get all the bombs and just do badly. So.
Well, the thing is, other people have bombs too in this format.
Exactly. So. Anyway, all in all, was a good time. I'm very happy I did it, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it was super fun. How are you feeling about Kaldheim Limited in general at this point?
At this point, I have another draft token, so I'm deciding whether I'm going to use it or not. But after that, I don't know if I will continue drafting for a while. Probably, I'll wait.
Yeah,
I feel like I have a lot of the set already. I've played quite a bit of it, and I don't know. I never feel like I really get there. So
yeah, I'm kind of like just ambivalent about it. I don't feel really like I don't love it, but I don't really hate it. I just find that there's a lot of cool stuff going on. Like there's snow and there's Vikings and there's so many cool themes in Kaldheim. I don't know. I just kind of when I play the games, I just aren't I'm not drawn in where after the event I just want to go draft again, which was happening to me with Zendikar Rising, where it's just I would just draft and be like, oh, I gotta go draft again. That was so fun. This is well, I guess I played Kaldheim.
I feel similarly. I think I like it a bit more than you do, but yeah, I still feel kind of like I could draft it one more and then I'd be fine for a while probably. And just keep playing.
Yeah, maybe in a couple of weeks I'll draft it or something.
Yeah.
I have to keep playing this format because the Strixhaven
you have to
qualifier weekend is sealed again. So I have to figure out how to get better at sealed.
Well, because also all the sealed
in this format.
it's done on Arena, right? You can't play sealed anymore, so you can't even practice. You just have to go and be like, well, I hope I remember.
Yeah, I could play on Magic Online, I guess.
Yeah, but why would you want to do that?
Why would I do that?
Yeah,
to
everything
myself?
looks so gross.
No animations, no stickers,
Dumb.
no emotes.
You just type stuff to each other. Weird. But we did want to say that, if you played and didn't do super well, number one, don't feel bad. I'm in the same boat as you. And also, there's a lot of people that that happened to them, and most of the pros also LSV. I think it took him 3 times, and Ben Stark it took him 4. So those are very high level playing Magic players that they will make small mistakes or little to none, and they probably built the deck how it should be built, and that just happens. So
Yeah, the overview of Ben Stark's event was exactly the same as mine. Took him 4 tries to get in, and then he went 3-2 on day 2.
oh yeah, really? So you're Ben Stark? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Basically, I'm
I-
as good as the best limited
I
player
am
in the
Ben
world.
Stark.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I just don't get super beaten up about it. Also, a lot of those people were talking about how the deck that got them 7 and whatever was like one of the worst decks that they had built that day. They're like, there were other decks that were so
Right.
much better than this one, but this one ended up getting them there. So
It's just the one that runs.
yeah.
runs
A lot of the
right?
time, whenever you build the deck that you think, this isn't going to be so great, you end up doing really well. Every time you have a deck, you're like, this is for sure going in. You do really bad. I don't know if it's like a mental thing or what it is, but that does tend to happen.
Could
so.
be. Yeah, I always find the numbers a bit comforting too, and MTG Data did some analysis on it. They basically plotted your win rate versus your percentage of actually making it through. So, in boring stat stuff, we call this a negative binomial distribution. Like how many times will like a coin flip that's weighted 70-30, how many times will you have to flip it before it comes out 3 tails or whatever. What are the percentages that the answer will be? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. So when you do this for win rates, like even if you had a 70% win rate in your games, like you won 70% of your games, which is ridiculously high, like maybe Paulo has that, like on Arena, but I definitely don't.
Yeah.
You're still unlikely to qualify. So even if you won 70% of your games, you would still only qualify, like in a given run, about 43% of the time in best of 1 and about 38% of the time in best of 3.
Wow.
So even when you're that good, you should expect it to take 2 or 3 tries.
Damn.
Yeah, so if you tried twice and didn't get in, don't worry, because you need like an 80% win rate to make that even enough tries to make it likely.
Nuts. So, going into these kinds of events, be prepared to, if you are, gung-ho and pushing like, hey, I want to qualify, just know that it will take a lot. Yeah. But, also playing in them is pretty fun as well. And, hey, my Vorinclex looks super cool now. So.
There you go. Now I just need to build a deck that has Vorinclex.
I know, exactly. I'm not playing anything with Vorinclex. I might just do that now. It's like you open a foil alt art something, and you're like, well, I guess I have to build something with this, because what else am I going to do with it?
I have a Jund list thrown together where I just want to put Vorinclex into play for free with Nissa.
Oh.
That's the goal of the deck. So
there you go. That sounds pretty good.
And it's just filled out with other stuff that I would like to put into play for free with Nissa, like Goldspan Dragon made the cut, so it's Jund.
But anyway, hey Jeff, I think I need another beer. I don't know about you, but I'm just completely empty. These cans are the small cans. If you can't see right now, but and when I say small,
He's holding it up to the camera, but it's a podcast.
Yeah, yeah. I forget that sometimes. No, these are like just the regular 12-ounce cans, which we usually drink the bigger ones. So I just blasted through this one.
By that we mean 353 milliliters.
Yes.
For those of us that don't know what a fluid ounce is.
Oh, sorry. I don't. My bad. Anyway, are you ready for a beer?
I've actually still got this one, but I'm ready to go to beer break.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
I just can't lie to the listeners and say I'm done,
So anyway, Jeff, which beer do you have right now?
It's actually kind of hard to read. Peach, mango, strawberry, pineapple, sorbet, sour IPA. The hedonism.
Ooh, damn!
I'm excited.
This
This
Reverie
definitely sounds like a Zach kind of beer. So
yeah, that definitely is. And this Reverie is also a Zach kind of beer. Okay, yeah, all right. I'm on board for these. This brewery. These are my first beers that I've tried from this brewery, so I'm pretty happy with it so far.
I went to them, went to the brewery a couple of years ago.
Oh, nice. I actually hadn't really heard of them until you were talking to me about them, so this is a new experience for me. It's quite nice. All right, Jeff, you know what time it is?
Oh, I know what time it is.
All right. It is time to draft the Kaldheim League Weekend #2 Fantasy Draft. Here we go. So, basically what we like to do is there are league weekends. Actually, Jeff, do you want to explain the league weekends?
Yeah, sure. So there are 2 professional leagues for Magic, kind of the highest, top tier. This is the NFL, I guess, is the MPL, Magic Pro League. Mm-hmm. Then 1 tier below that, but still, competitive and basically second highest level of Magic you can play, is the Rivals League. I guess if we're talking football, that's like your NCAA maybe.
Yeah, probably.
And the league weekends are these, basically everyone has to play everyone, so it's kind of like a regular season game. But what they do is they bundle them all into one weekend, or 2 weekends. So there are 24 players in the MPL. That means you have to play like 13 matches to play everyone else once, and they'll split those matches up. You have to play 23 matches, and they'll split that up into one weekend of 11 and one weekend of 12. Yes. So these are kind of like your regular season games of the MPL and Rivals League, but all condensed into 1 week. So yeah, we'll just be seeing MPL players play against other MPL players and Rivals players play against other Rivals players. It's not really a tournament. It's just try to get as many wins as you can.
Exactly. And then if you have your points are cumulative, if you get the most points, then you're going to be put in different tournaments towards the end of the season.
There's like a playoff-like kind of thing in the Strixhaven split, but right now we're just kind of right in the middle of the regular season.
Yes, we are. Also, this is Kaldheim League Weekend number 2, but it will be the first league weekend that has Kaldheim cards. Because that's right. Kaldheim League Weekend number 1 was right before, it was like a month before the cards came out. It was pretty funny that they called it that. But anyway, whatever. This one's quite exciting because we finally get to see the pros playing these new cards that we've had for the last few weeks. And with that being said, the format is standard. So yeah.
Really cool because standard's in huge flux. Like we've had a few weeks of big tournaments of standard. I think exactly a month, right? Like there's been 4 weekends.
Yeah. And
this last one was the first time it didn't change really aggressively. And even then, like there was a new deck that entered the scene. This kind of Naya combo deck.
Yeah.
That did well.
So
it's actually what kicked me out of that tournament. I lost to this Naya combo deck.
Wait, that's so funny.
Made a mistake.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, because they do these league weekends, we like to make a fantasy draft out of it where we draft players and then we count up their points and just between me and Jeff and see who can get the most. And and then the winner wins a 2-4, a weird 2-4.
That's right. A curated selection of 24 of the finest beers that Toronto has to offer.
Or just whatever 24 beers you want to put in. There.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to just bring me a case of Coors Light, I guess that technically,
if you want to bring,
it would be a weird thing for you to do.
Yeah,
so
but if you want to bring it to me, because I'm winning, so.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I just thought we agreed that like the loser gets the beer for the winner, so you would be getting me a 2-4.
Yeah, that's why you're gonna give it to me.
All right, let's just do this for the rest of the episode.
I think that's all people want to really hear. Anyway, so the teams are made up of 3 MPL players, 4 Rivals players, and then we also pick the highest meta percentage we are guessing will the highest meta percentage of a deck that will go to the tournament, and then the top performing deck.
Right. So for both of those, we'll just kind of combine MPL and Rivals stats into one conglomerate of stats. And then there are certain, I don't know if we ever really laid out official rules, but, there's we understand if one person brought a deck and they happen to go 12-0, that's still not the best performing deck.
It's just
it doesn't count. Only one person brought it.
Yeah, that's kind of just being nice, I guess. It probably
it's the honor system
more than
unless you happened to guess the weird archetype that only one person brought. Then I guess we'll have to. If that happens, we'll have to address it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the point structure is basically you get 1 point for each MPL or Rivals player that gets a win. For each win that they get, sorry. And then you get 2 points for the highest meta percentage guess, and 2 points for beating your opponent's highest meta percentage. 2 points for the top performing deck, and 2 points for beating your opponent's top performing deck.
And I know it sounds exploitable that you just pick the same deck as whatever your opponent picks, so you they can't get any advantage in that scenario. We're just not doing that because we're doing this for fun.
Yeah, we're casually competitive, so
Yeah.
it's not that. It's not
But
that big a
sometimes we
deal.
will pick the same deck if we just both honestly think that's the
We're
right
like,
answer.
this is probably it. So, because why would I not? I'm
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you points so that
I mean, I'm really hearing good things about Rakdos this time around, so
Yeah.
fully would be totally smart pick. So
Is that you're trying to like throw me off or something?
no, I don't know what you're talking about.
That feels really weird. I don't like that. I don't like that
good
at all.
pick. Really good pick, Rakdos. Just don't worry about the past 2 times we picked Rakdos and nobody brought it.
But this time it does seem like you could bring Rakdos and it would be fine.
It always seems like that, doesn't it?
Why are you trying to get in my head already? We haven't even flipped the coin yet. We're not even there.
Yeah.
I don't like this. Okay. So we have our special toonie that we use for every.
Well, did we
coin flip.
mention the current score? Or?
Oh, we don't need to talk about that.
I was just gonna say, like, they should know, right? We
No.
played three
No,
of
it's
these,
fine.
and I feel like they just to be totally clear on who's getting the beer. We should just mention that I'm up 2-1, right?
Yeah.
I won twice as many times as you, so
All right. Well, you're not going to win this one, so even with your mind games that you're trying to play on me right now.
I'm just psyching myself out. I pick Rakdos, nobody brings it.
All right. Are you ready? I'm going to flip the coin, the special toonie that we use.
The ceremonial toonie.
Yes, this is what it is. And then you're going to call it in the air as
Yep.
per usual. All right, here we go.
Tails.
It's heads.
But I feel like I pick tails every time, and I'm always wrong.
You won it last time.
Except the times that I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so that one. So I'm gonna go first in the MPL, so you can get first in your in rivals.
So
That's
you're picking Paulo's. You want to pick Paulo? That's what you're saying.
I will pick the. I'm just gonna start off. So with my first pick, I'm just gonna pick the greatest player ever from Brazil, Paulo Vitor
GOAT.
Dama de Rosa. Yeah, might as well. Hey, what's wrong with that? All right, and
You
we're
just
off.
put him over in my column over here, if you like.
No, I'm putting him in the green column, which is me. Gosh, I just realized that our colors are simic, and I hate that.
I know, we need to change that to red and black. That's the only way to do this.
Oh, we're talking about our show notes. Jeff writes in blue, I write in green. So anyway, it's your pick.
That's a big problem. All right. I have to pick this person. Just one of the hottest players around right now. They never seem to put up a poor performance, and I don't actually believe they've ever been on my team. So I will be selecting the man in the yellow hat, Gabriel Nassif.
You've
Oh
definitely.
no, wait,
picked-
Nassif was on my
Yeah, I was gonna
literally
say-
last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's not surprising.
Well,
at
not
all.
last week, last time.
Yeah, last league weekend. Last weekend.
That wasn't an easy pick for me. I was between two people, so I'm hoping that I got away with one here.
Interesting. I think I'm gonna. This one. This is a player that is near and dear to my heart. Has been a really great player on my team in the past, and I'm gonna bring them back because why would I not? This is a player with 3 Grand Prix titles, 2010 Player of the Year, and a Bash Bro from USA, Brad Nelson. Come on, Dan. Did you want Brad?
That is who I was going to pick.
Ooh,
That's who I was
wow.
debating between, because I think Brad is just really good in these new standards.
I think he
Something
is as well.
navigates really well.
He's great at
So I
that.
was even debating picking him first.
Really? I mean, I would have liked Nassif too. So, in either way,
Yeah. There's no losing there. Okay. My next pick is a world champion, Mythic Championship 5 champion, and has just been dominating in recent years. Add 2 Spanish national championships to that, not to mention a card with his face on it that is one of the best decks in Standard right now. I feel like it's his time to shine. Javier Dominguez.
All right. I was actually thinking about Javier Dominguez.
The fervent champion himself.
I was thinking that, but I ultimately went against it.
Let's just say we will be seeing his face this weekend.
Yes.
So it's attacking for 1.
So this is a Pro Tour and Mythic Invitational champion, the 2015 Player of the Year, Magic Hall of Famer from USA, Seth Manfield.
Nice pick. Nice pick.
Feeling stacked. Feeling good. Just wait, they're all going to be terrible. Just... I steal a player from you.
Just
Why
all
did
the
I
guys
steal...
at the top.
Wait, no, I just stole a player from you. That's so terrible. Last league weekend, I stole a bunch of players from Jeff, and then I ended up doing so badly because of it, because all those players were just stinkers.
All right, so my next pick, my last pick for the MPL. It feels so weird to call this like taking a shot, because this player is so good and has been so good for so long. This time I am more confident that neither of us have ever picked this player. But feel free to correct me on that. With an absolutely unbelievable 25 Grand Prix top 8s and 8 top finishes, hasn't totally found his footing in the MPL yet, but I feel like this weekend is his time to shine. I am going to select William Huey Jensen.
Ooh, okay. All right. I like that. Interesting. Very interesting. Huey, all right.
I had to go a different way this time.
Yeah. All right. I see it. I see you. That could be good. I like that. Nice shot. I went with the easy ones because I want to win. But you're up first for Rivals. What's the first pick? What is the first pick? It is hard now because it felt like it was very easy, and now things have changed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hold it against him. I still think that the best player in the Rivals League is still Luis Scott Vargas. So for me, it's still easy. With my first pick, I will use it on Luis Scott Vargas.
Dang it. Maybe I can get in your head.
My Rivals players last time were great for me, except Luis.
Yeah.
But, I don't hold it against him.
I'm going to go with another. I'm just going to pick all the best ones. This is a winner of the Pro Tour Return to Ravnica and an international chess master that I just found out about. From the Czech Republic, This is Stanislav Sivka.
The guy in first place, huh?
Well, yeah.
You just like look at the top three and pick based on that.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to pick your players if you just
See, I scroll all the way to the bottom because, like we were talking about this, if I get too far ahead in these, then, he can never come back and it's less
then
fun.
It's not interesting.
I just scroll to the bottom. And
The thing is, I did that last time where I was trying to pick all these fun things, and then it blew up in my face.
Well, this time, I'm going to copy your strategy, I think, and I'll just go for the number 2 ranked player here.
All right.
So I'm clicking on his face, but I can't seem to get the stats. So I will be selecting Zachary Keeney because he had an unbelievable weekend last time, kind of proved his mettle, and I want to give him a shot to do it again.
Yeah. You know what? I will say he has a great name. So.
Keeney? Yeah. That's pretty cool. I can't let the Zachs band together, that would be too powerful an entity.
Yeah, the Team Zach.
Yeah.
This player is best known for winning Pro Tour San Diego in 2010, and this was after they were ending LSV's 17-match undefeated run. So from Germany, Simon Gortzen.
Good pick.
I was just hoping like maybe we can get some of that fuel again and just beat up on LSV. So
yeah, let's just do that. I remember Simon. He was in the booth for a while, commentating these events. I guess he's decided to go back to being on the other side of things.
You know who also used to comment as well? LSV.
LSV.
So
yeah.
There you go.
Well, there's somebody that I know I want to add to my team, but I don't know if you're going to take them because it's known that I like this person. So I'm trying to pull that dance again. It seems like you're not trying to snipe me anymore because it's been a losing strategy for
It has been a really bad... All the players that you like are terrible.
I'm just trying to juke you into taking Ben Stark, who's played limited the whole time and hasn't actually practiced.
Won't bring a real deck. He's going to play mono blue in standard.
Hey, but he brought Rogues to the historic event, and Rogues might be back on the menu with Uro out of the format.
With what historic
so
event? No, Ben Stark?
Yeah, he played Rogues in the split championship. That,
Oh, in the championship.
was half historic and half standard.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the last historic event where he played mono red.
Oh yeah, no, not that
I
one.
was like, what are you talking about? He absolutely did not. Though he could play
Yeah.
mono red this time, and that wouldn't be a terrible choice. So
Okay, we're just gonna do it. 2018 Player of the Year, and just been playing out of his mind since then. We're gonna lock this in full on Team LSV over here. I'm choosing Luis Salvado.
that is a good one.
He's treated me well in the past. So.
Yeah,
And he just gets so excited when he does well.
I know. He's such a good
They
player.
always have the camera.
I really like him. He is actually probably my favorite Rivals player that I said when we were doing that that thing on Instagram. I mean, here we go. Okay. With 2 Grand Prix wins and looking for an MPL spot next season, this is from the US of A, Ili Cassis.
Nice. He served me well last week.
He sure
or last
time.
event.
Wow.
Always feels like I want to say last week, but
All you have to say is last weekend, and then you're good.
there you go. Last league weekend.
Or just weekend, just last weekend.
No, last league weekend.
Last le weekend.
There you go. That's definitely the best way to say it. All right. For my last pick, again, it feels crazy to call it a shot because they're a great player. Pro Tour champion, 10-time GP top 8er with 1 win. I will be choosing, for my final slot, Corey Burkhart.
Oh, that was one of mine. That was one I was gonna pick. I was gonna pick Corey, but I have a backup, as I always do. With 2 GP wins, 3 PT top 8s. This is a former MPL player who's looking to get back where they belong from USA, Mike Siggy Sigrist.
Thought you were going to say Ben Stark for a second.
Ben Stark.
Because he was in the MPL last year. Although I don't know if he's necessarily looking to get back there. Because
He's
just crushing people in draft. That's what he's busy doing.
He doesn't want to do anything else. He just wants to draft.
I feel like he's going to somehow leave the Rivals League. And then they're going to introduce draft as a format in the league weekends. Just out of spite.
I could just see that happening. But then he'd immediately get back in because maybe not. Who knows?
Yeah, I feel like they would have to invite him back in if they were making a big thing about introducing limited.
He's like, what the fuck, guys? I played all these other formats I don't like for so long. Why do you...
Yeah.
All right, they seem pretty good. Jeff, do you want to read off your list real quick? Your team, sorry.
All right. So for the MPL, I have Gabriel Nassif, Javier Dominguez, and William Jensen. And from the Rivals League, I have Luis Scott Vargas, Zachary Keeney, Luis Salvado, and Corey Burkhart.
Very nice.
What's your team got going on?
Right now, I've got PVDDR, Brad Nelson, and Seth Manfield for the MPL, which feels really good. And then for Rivals, I have Stanislav Sivka, Simon Gortzen, Ili Cassis, and Mike Segrist. So,
That's a good team.
good teams. Good teams all around. Like it.
See, you always spend too many resources in the MPL, It's always one in the Rivals League. The week is always one in the Rivals.
It is, but, I mean, we did change the rules, so it's kind of like that. But we'll see. I feel good about my Rivals picks. I like them.
No, your team looks strong.
Yeah. Your team
I feel like my team is all excellent players, but some of them just haven't been doing as well as some of your players lately.
Yeah.
It's like who's doing well now versus
It's going to be a classic.
who has the potential for the breakout weekend,
Yeah, and then all my players are sitting on their laurels, and your players are fighting in.
Oh, I don't think any of your players are sitting on their laurels, though.
No, not the Rivals ones for sure. Maybe.
Yeah, although I think Brad is really into Sultai, so it's potential disaster because that deck is bad.
But yeah, I know. Anyway, are you ready to talk about the highest percentage that you think is going to come to?
I'm ready to talk about it. Do I know do I have any confidence in my picks? No. This is I think the least confident I've ever been about these
I felt
sections.
very bad about these, and you made me feel even worse because I picked Rakdos mid-range. And then
I
you just
know.
were shitting all over it. That was terrible. I'm
I'm
just
not
saying
saying it's not a. I'm not saying it's not a good pick. I'm just saying, the last 2 times we picked it, nobody brought it.
I'm saying Rakdos mid
It
range.
happened in both of us.
Yeah, but I'm saying that those last times were because it was a fringer deck, right? It wasn't like one of the top decks. And I think this is Valky helps out a lot. I think
Valky is the best card in Kaldheim.
it's really good.
Well, maybe Faceless Haven, but I don't know, probably Valky.
And I really think that players are going to see that like Sultai is not super great because it gets beat by aggro decks, and I think that Rakdos can do some work. I don't know. I just think that a lot of players are going to bring Rakdos over some of the other top tier decks that they could play.
Yeah, I also kind of feel like, just on the topic of Sultai, that it's been such a popular deck because it's pretty forgiving. Mm-hmm. All you have to do is like survive to 7 mana and then cast your spell that wins the game. Mm-hmm. Whereas with pro players, I think they would want something that leverages their play skill maybe a little more. They're not trying to pick a deck that like will win them games for free.
Yeah.
Right? They're trying to pick a deck that, even if they have to work for it, will just get them the most wins.
Exactly.
Which is why like Rogues has traditionally been a better pick for these kind of weekends than it is in like this. It never does well in the Star City Games events. But yeah, I have a question though. How are we going to deal with like splashing? Like, let's say Gruul Adventures splashes blue. Is that now a different deck, Teamer Adventures, if it puts some blue lands and some negates in the sideboard?
No, because that's Moist Gruul, remember?
Moist Gruul. But is it Moist Gruul? Do I have to guess Moist Gruul?
No, because they'll probably put the splash. Because like technically Rakdos has Gigantha or whatever a lot of times, right? So
yeah, that's just a red card. Like
I know, but like
this is literally putting another color of mana in your deck. Like you have ways to play blue. I think Moist Gruul is just Gruul, right?
I mean, the hard part is Moist Gruul is just Gruul, but no, I think it is because like you're really just basically it's part of a sideboard plan, right? It's not like you're not just trying to play what is it? The Scalds card. Fuck, what is that called? Triumph of the Scalds. What is it? Showdown of the Scalds.
Well, that's okay. So are we saying that Naya is different from Gruul?
That's what I'm saying.
Teamer is just Gruul.
Because how many cards are going to be blue?
Like Negate, Disdainful Stroke, and Mystical Dispute, maybe.
Yeah.
All just counter spells in the sideboard.
Yeah, in the sideboard, right? As opposed to like, oh, now I'm playing 4 copies of Giant Killer and I'm playing 4 copies of Showdown of the Scalds.
Okay.
In my main deck, I would say I think I would.
If it has a main deck card of the other color.
I just think that the breakdown is going to be, they'll just say they're just going to consider it Gruul still. I don't think they're going to consider it Teamer.
Okay.
That's my pick, but I do think that Naya Adventures will be different than Gruul Adventures because you have to make a conscious choice.
See that I think I would slam dunk Gruul, except that pilots are going to be split between Naya and Gruul. Mm-hmm. Possibly, like that's a thing I could see happening.
That does
I
make
think
sense.
if you take all of the green-red based adventures decks together, it probably is the top percentage. But then when you split them, I don't know. I'm still gonna go with Gruul. I'm just gonna say Gruul Adventures.
Okay. What about top performing decks?
So, it's hard to pick this because this is so dependent on what the meta looks like. So, like, if we had trouble picking what's going to be the top deck in the meta, it's going to be even harder to pick what's going to be good because usually you're informed by, well, if this is the best deck and this deck eats that one, or the most popular deck and this deck eats that one alive, then I could pick this one as my top performer. So it's still pretty up in the air. I mean, we could look at Star City Games events, but traditionally they're not great indicators of the
league
pro
weekends.
play.
Yeah. Well, I already know mine, so I'm just going to say I think Gruul Adventures is going to be the top performing deck because I do think that it does pretty well against Rakdos.
For yours, are we splitting hairs on Sacrifice versus mid-range?
No.
Like Rakdos Sacrifice and Rakdos mid-range?
I would...
No, I don't think so.
Because I don't think there's
it's too much.
like a prominent one in Standard, is there? I feel like I just play like Rakdos decks that feel the same.
No, there's kind of two different flavors. One plays like steal your creature effects, and the other does not. So one is much better against creature decks and much worse against anything that doesn't play creatures. Because it plays like Claim the Firstborn and then a bunch of ways to sack stuff.
Yeah.
Village Rites and Woe Strider. The other one's just like, I just have good cards in red and black.
Good stuff.
Like the other one's all in on Croxa, I guess. Gruul is a good choice. Because it's just like, it's an aggro deck with crazy high power level. It's hard to bet against it.
Well, it just feels like it can leverage itself against some of the aggro decks we're seeing. And if people happen to bring some big mana decks, it does really well against that too.
If I'm saying Gruul is popular, is there anything that absolutely dunks on Gruul? Not really. It's part of the reason Gruul is so good.
Naya combo?
I don't think anyone's going to bring that. I mean, maybe like Ken Yukihiro.
Yeah, I was going to say Ken Yukihiro.
Yeah.
What I want to know...
Because it just has so many bad cards in it.
What I want to know is who's going to bring cycling? Is anyone going to bring cycling?
God, I hate that deck. I played in a qualifier with Rogues, and there were 200 and something people in the event, and 6 of them were playing cycling, and I matched cycling in round 1 and cycling in round 2. The odds of which, by the way, are like 0.1%. And Rogues cannot beat the cycling deck. Because you mill all of their cycling cards and turbocharge their fucking thing and they kill you immediately.
Yeah.
Like,
You have to have like the counter spell plan.
yeah, it's like a weird, like basically you just have to have a ton of counter spells, but the problem is you can't really beat their thing that makes 1/1 flyers every like turn cycle.
Yeah. Oh, unexpected friends. What is it?
Yeah. Improbable alliance.
Improbable alliance.
It's what you said. It's synonyms, right?
Unexpected friends.
That's great. All right, I'm gonna say that the top performing deck, Naya Adventures, because I think it has the edge in the Adventures mirror match.
Okay, all right. Sure, that makes sense.
It's Showdown of the Scalds.
Perfect. All right, sounds good. Great. I'm
so not confident about those picks.
So I picked Rakdos mid-range and Gruul Adventures, and you picked Gruul Adventures and Naya Adventures.
Yeah, this reminds me of the time when like we were picking for historic, and I picked 4-color as one of them and Sultai as the other one. And it's the same fucking deck with just white splashed in, and I did the same thing here.
Hey, maybe white, not that terrible.
Yeah, it's a little different though, because in that scenario, splashing white was worse in the mirror match. Lost you points in the mirror match and won you points against the general meta, and I think here it's the opposite.
Yeah, great. Well, we have our teams, so we're going to be posting these on Twitter and all the places, so you can remember what we picked and root for your favorite team. Team Zach, that's me, my team.
Come on. You want to be on the winning team.
You want to root for the underdog. That's like a classic thing, Anyway, well, but with that, wow, that beer really got to me, man. It was half the beer, half your mind games, like attacking me in that thing. But I am ready for another.
Because I knew like Rakdos was a reasonable choice, so I was like, I had to get in early with Rakdos.
That was. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you're just trying to be like, oh, it's a horrible choice. I play it all the time. It's not good. Because I never play Rakdos. I always play Mono White Aggro.
And I love Rakdos. That's the funny part.
Yeah, I know.
Too.
I was like, why would he say that? Why would he say that?
If even he thinks Rakdos is bad, maybe it's really bad.
Maybe I should play Mono Red or whatever. Pick that.
I don't think Mono Red would have been an unreasonable choice.
I also think it's a good one.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Mono Red wins both these categories.
I know. It's really possible. That would be a really interesting tournament.
It's just a really strong deck. Like, Faceless Haven is so good. If you ever play against this deck, you have to be worried that they could just drop Embercleave on you at any point. But then you also are just going to lose to Faceless Haven if you don't like do stuff. So mono white's not even the worst choice for top performing deck because I know Autumn really likes it and is considering bringing it.
Yeah.
So if the team Autumn's on is playing it, then it has a pretty decent chance at spiking a high win rate.
Yeah, I think it's one of those weird things where like I play it, and I'm not great, so I'm like, oh, that deck's not good.
Yeah.
But I get excited.
But
I'm like,
even Autumn could win with this deck.
yeah. But I mean, that's kind of Autumn's playstyle, so I could definitely see that. Or part of.
Yeah, I feel
the
like it's
playstyle.
just like it's an aggro deck with a lot of the same things going on as mono red. It just doesn't have Embercleave, and it has nothing that compares in power level
It doesn't.
to Embercleave.
It doesn't have Embercleave, and it doesn't have like Bone Crusher or something to finish the job. There's so many times.
And I know Rogues is not super popular, but like it also has no escape creatures, whereas Red has the best escape creatures.
Mm-hmm. So it's just it's not my absolute favorite. I thought I was gonna love it, and I'm medium on it. But with that, Jeff, I think it's time for last call.
Last call.
We're just singing every
I don't
time.
know, man. I've had 2 strong beers here.
We're just singing every time there's a last call now. All right,
Yeah.
sounds good to me. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Okay.
Wow.
This is
We picked we went opposites on
yeah.
this one.
But I took the reverie, and you took hedonism.
And I picked hedonism, yeah.
I didn't think that was gonna happen. Actually, no, I did kind of think that was gonna happen because just took you so much longer to drink this than I thought. Because then I had it and I was like, "Whew, this is great."
I think it would have been better as my second beer for if we're just talking about drinking speed.
I could probably see that.
So which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with yours, or sorry, let's start with hedonism.
Mine, as in
Yeah, let's talk hedonism.
Okay, yeah, I loved this. To me, this is what like a sour should be. This is sour done right. It doesn't taste like I'm drinking juice. It tastes like I'm drinking a beer, and I get all the flavors they're talking about, like the peach in particular. I find really nice. Yeah, I pretty much have nothing bad to say about this. This is what I want when I order a sour beer.
Nice. I thought it was good. I do like it. I think the peach and the mango really come through. And the sorbet actually as well. It has a creaminess to it. The only thing that I don't super love about it is that it does have a wheat aftertaste.
Okay.
Which is a thing that just pulls me a little too. It just feels very different, right? It's like
That might be what I'm liking
Probably.
that makes it taste like a beer still.
yeah. And to me, I'm like, and I in general, wheat beers are not my favorite because of that. So this is a really great sour that I like that has the part of wheat ale that I don't. So it's just
Okay. You're like sensitive to the wheat.
yeah, it's just that specific. It's just my own personal opinion about it. I think as a beer, it's a really great beer. I think it's really well made, and it tastes great, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone.
I like the lacto ferment stuff.
Yeah, and there's also like a bunch of different versions of it, so I definitely want to try all the other ones that they have, and I will definitely order
if
it
it's
again.
this, it probably all has wheat in the base though.
Yeah. So
I checked the ingredients. Your palate's not wrong. There's wheat in it.
yes, there is wheat in it. So yeah, I do think it's really good. I just thought this other one was better.
Fair enough. For me, this one, I think I just got to give it diamond. Like this is a really good sour for me.
Yeah, I would probably say I might give it platinum. As far as I think it's really great, but as far as sours go, obviously we have a differing opinion. And there's
Like the sours. That's why I'm not surprised we went opposites on this one. The sours I really like are not the sours you tend to really like, and vice versa.
So I like a sour that has its own, that feels like its own beer. It's just like completely different. And this one feels like it has other components of different types of beers, right? But yeah, still really solid. Definitely worth trying. So, like it. I like this sorbet sour IPA thing. It's kind of interesting. It's fun.
Yeah, I think that's the. I think it's lactose probably.
Yeah, I think so too. It has that
Let me see if they have lactose in here. Yeah, lactose sugar.
Yeah.
That's what kind of gives it that like milkshakey or like creamy
Feel.
sorbet aspect.
Good.
Yeah.
It's really good. I like it. But how about this Revelry?
Yeah. Also good.
Dreamsicle double
For
IPA.
me, it was just a little too rich.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I liked pretty much everything. Tastes good.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones that doesn't taste like it's 8.5%.
Yeah. It definitely.
Like at all.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. This is definitely diamond for me, because I like these. Just like this is a beer that when I go to that brewery or talk to people about the brewery, I'll probably mention this one and be like, definitely try that one out. And it's also a dreamsicle that doesn't. I've tried a bunch of weird stuff. I always like trying the weird ones, and it's not too creamy or usually dreamsicle is like orange, but this fruit or the berry is really nice. It is very
Like the kind of tropical aspect. To it.
And the it is very decadent, but it's good. It's really working for me. Yeah, if they had these in bigger cans, I'd probably buy it a lot more often. To tell you the truth.
Yeah. I really liked it as well, but the richness was just like a little over the top for me. Like I don't even know if I wanted it in a bigger can.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a beer I want like one of, whereas this beer that I picked, I think I could have these all night.
Yeah.
But I still think it's diamond. Like I would also use this as a talking point to tell people about the brewery. I would say, like it was a little over for me, but like if you're into that kind of thing, they do that really well. The like rich, decadent.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
Beers.
So then maybe I want to change my other one to diamond. Nah.
Just a bit too sweet, maybe. I don't know, but
Yeah, you're not always into like the sweeter one. For whatever reason, I don't like eating sweets, but drinking sweets is just I'm all for it.
Oh yeah. I just don't really have a sweet tooth eating or drinking, I guess.
I never thought that I had a sweet tooth, but when it comes to like alcohol stuff, it really depends, obviously, but alcohol itself is come from sugars and stuff.
Like there's sweet done wrong and sweet done right, and that's definitely sweet done correctly. It's just like
not something
I would prefer if they toned that down just a bit.
And I think it's right at the mark for me. If it was if it was a little bit more, I probably wouldn't be into it, but yeah.
Yeah, both really great beers.
Really great beers. I'm excited to have this. We have more next week, and I'm really excited for those ones as well.
More Rorschach next week.
So tell us what you think about these like kind of brewery takes, I guess. What did you call it?
Tap takeovers.
Tap takeovers, yeah. About these tap takeovers, we might do some more in the future of our local breweries around here because we can get shipments really easily and then kind of knock things out that way. Well, Jeff, I think it's closing time. So with that, you can reach us at Arena Regulars on Twitter and Instagram.
Look for us on Magic the Gathering Arena itself. Will be the username Arena Regulars Podcast. Throw us a good sticker or a good game emote before the game's even close to over. We love that.
When you draw your first card, say good game.
Yeah,
that's actually that's a nice thing.
Yeah, that one I don't mind.
If you want to talk to me personally, you can find me at Zulberg on Instagram and Twitter. That's Zulberg, ZEULBERG. But Jeff, where can they find you?
Yeah, on Twitter I'm Blues Brews MTG, BLUES MTG, or you can find me streaming on Twitch, Blues Brews, and I usually stream Wednesdays and Thursday nights for sure. And original schedule was Sunday nights, but it seems like there's always these tournaments all day Sunday, and then I don't really want to play more Magic because I've played all day. So definitely Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Perfect. Also, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or iTunes, anywhere you can leave a review. Those would really make a huge difference for us.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate it.
This has been the Arena Regulars.
Reminding you that Naya Ventures is going to be the top deck this weekend.
Good night. All right, that's fine.